Sentimental and technical video for the QuasiDB service for the 11th of May 2021. Start the Euro Pound because we've got the diagonal break, and we look at the weekly as well and then zoom out. Then we can see that we're actually underneath that that would have been support, and we're actually below the median line as well, and those lines, they correspond to 0.8666. So assuming that we hold below, this is going to be pretty bearish because this is from 2015. So I think our signal should be good, and we can reconvene it if we get stopped out. But you could also take profit as well because we made some good pips. But I'm going to hold this, I think, up down to 8516, 8530 area. So we want to try and get a good risk multiple on this trade because everything's lined up, especially the bubbles. So just a quick note on the Euro Pound. Aussie Yen, 85.45, 85.10. This is MR1. We're now support. We're a buy. It's quite sideways. AU, 78.50, and one below is 76.70. MR1 is currently holding resistance at 78.42. We are a buy, and they're going long, so that'll be bearish. So you have to wait and see. I think this MR1 might come into play. 78.42. So yeah, we're 10 pips below, so it might hold resistance. EA 155.20. And 154.09, we're a sell, and they shorted it. So dynamically, that's why it came up, because they shorted it there, and that's why it's coming up. So there's like a disagreement between the dynamic and the static. So be careful. Zoom out. We're in a descending channel, so it's technically bearish. EU 121.80. 121.18, we're a buy, and it's quite sideways. They were going long, and now it's going sort of like drifting sideways, so it's kind of hard to predict what's going to happen. We've got a bullish harmonic, and also keep an eye on the dollar bubble as well, because I think the dollar bubble is going to move on our chart, so keep an eye on that. And if it does move like how I think it is, then this could potentially fall. Okay. GU, we've got a bearish ABCD. Let's get rid of that line. I don't know what that line's there for. The SLC above 14159, 14098. We're a buy, and they shorted it in quite a big way, right about here, and so we just completely rallied. MR2 is a level of interest at 14169. And it'll probably hit this supply as well. See how it, it corresponds to this area up here. So it could be a good resistance. We want this to carry on going up because we're short Euro Pound. NU one above is MR1 exactly, 73.14. One below 72.45. We're a buy, pretty sideways. And hopefully you can see the level as well. You can always pause the video, but there'd be like potential buy zones, or you just trade against them, like we were doing on the Euro Pound, for example. We're using the pitchforks for stop loss and entry and things like that. Euro Yen. So we've got this diagonal support there, and the SLC below is, I'll just put my mouse on it, 131.74, and one above is 132.70. We're a buy, and it's sideways. Pound Yen at 154.10 and 153.49. This is MR1. I think it's MR1. Yeah. So that could well come into play as a support and can bounce. We should probably be within the pitchfork, but we're a buy, and it's sideways again, so it's quite sideways stuff on the dynamic. Dollar yen, there's monthly pivot, so we're bearish below. One above is 109.05 and below, okay, 108.60. That comes as a support, the pitchfork, lower support there for zoom out. There we go. That's your median line, and it's like the pitchfork lower, and it respected it quite well. Like 2 times. We might come down and get this stop loss cluster, and then we can come up again potentially. It's quite tricky. We are a buy, so we should probably be getting this, let's see, above. But it's very sideways. Dollar CAD, this is continuing to fall, but we know why, because the sentiment is very skewed. Liquidity area, let me click my mouse on it, 121.27. One below is 120.50. Very sideways. These guys have to get flushed out. I think that's the only way that this is going to come up. It has to come down in order to come up. So it takes those stops. Dollar Swiss, 89.80, and the one above is so far away. I'm not going to show you it because it's ridiculous. Bearish ABCD. We've got descending pitchfork, and we're selling the static as well. There's your resistance at 90.20. Gold, 1850. They brought it down a lot lower. It was at 1900 yesterday, if you remember. So they've come to their senses and they brought their stops lower down, probably because they think it's going to rally, and that's why they put their stops down. So they don't want to get horrifically obliterated. They just want to get out at a medium-sized loss. I think that's why they move their stops down, because I think they think it's going to come up. Which it looks like it's going to do because of the sentiment. One below is, come on, 1830. So 1850 and 1830, and then your stop loss clusters for gold. So hopefully it helps. I will wrap up now. I'm not going to waffle anymore. I'll be around if you need me. Just let me know. And yeah, have a good day, and I'll speak to you soon.